Something that I think really changed the course of my healing was when my physio said that I should start massaging my wound. Women deal with so many pressures after childbirth, especially if you've had a C-section, because you're dealing with immense pain, with having a newborn baby at home, your change in routine, and also with recovering from what is major surgery. And I realized from the get-go that ensuring that I have a good recovery is going to be pivotal. So when the writing was on the wall and I realized I was going to have a C-section, I reached out to my friends that have had C-sections. Google was one of those friends. And I reached out to the nurses and I just asked everyone for as much input as to what I should be doing and not doing. And they were very helpful. The nurses only had 2 top tips, and they were that I shouldn't be lifting anything heavier than my baby, and that I shouldn't actually wash the incision wound. I should be just washing at the top and letting the soapy water drip down. So those were 2 top tips. And the first thing that I did in my recovery process, which really helped, because I wouldn't say there is a most important thing you can do. This is like a puzzle. Each of the pieces fit together to ensure a really good recovery. But the first step was that when I started mobilizing, I didn't get up with a sit-up. For those of you who watched David's birth story, you'll realize and remember that the nurse wasn't helpful at all. When I asked her, how should I get up? She just walked away. So there was no real help from the nurse, but I had a point of reference, and that was that when I broke my back, I remember them telling me to mobilize by doing a log roll. So this time I used that. I was like, okay, if it's good enough for my back, it's going to be good enough for my tummy. And I got out of bed with the log roll. That was really important, because if you watch the birth story, you'll remember that the girl across from me tore open again and she had to go back to theater again. So that was the first step, I would say, so important. And for about 3 weeks after surgery, I did that. I got out of bed by rolling out of bed. Although it was done in a really rude and unkind way, I really appreciate that the nurses told me to mobilize as soon as possible. And I started mobilizing about 8 hours after surgery, and now I'm really grateful for that. After the fact, just reading up how much mobilizing as soon as what you can really helps your recovery, I'm really grateful for the fact that I started mobilizing that early on. And with that being said, I refrained from climbing stairs, having sex, driving cars, having sex. And yes, that also helps a lot with recovery, because you shouldn't be overexerting yourself. And Chris was such a help when I came home. He really wanted me to rest. And I'm just not that kind of person. So I've been an Energizer bunny. But with his help, I really did rest more than I think I would have rested without his insistence on me chilling. So that really helped, is getting enough rest, not climbing stairs, not driving cars, not having sex, and definitely not carrying anything heavier than your baby. Eating healthy and keeping hydrated is such an integral part of your recovery process, because I believe it creates more red blood cells, white blood cells, which in turn fight the infection and also helps create new tissue. So that was also a very important part of my recovery process, is my diet. And I have to say the fact that I am breastfeeding really helped keep me conscious of what I was eating, and Chris got me a lot of fruit and vegetables. So eating healthy is imperative in the recovery process. Remember, if you cough or sneeze, hold your belly. Close the incision wound, maybe take a pillow or whatever, and just press on the site and cough or sneeze. Seeing as I'm feeding on demand and I'm mommy on tap, I feel that my wounds exposure to fresh air really helped with the recovery. And that being said, don't wear any tight-fitting clothing. I've been living in dresses, and just whenever I had a pants on, I rolled it down to way below my wound, because I just felt, apart from possibly chafing my wound, it could obstruct the correct blood flow, etc. So important things I did was exposing my wound to fresh air, keeping it dry and clean, wearing dresses. That's been pivotal. Something that I think really changed the course of my healing was when my physio said that I should start massaging my wound. That helped so much. I had this weird clump bump thing on the right side of my incision. And she said, no, massage it. And the first time she massaged it and it hurt. And I felt weird. I was like, are you tearing me apart? But she was like, no, this is natural, and it is 5 weeks after the fact, so I think you're going to be okay. So she started massaging me, and ever since I started doing that, I just have seen such a change in my wound, the way it looks, the way it feels, and it definitely has to do with reintegrating the muscle and with blood flow. That being said, just take it easy. Don't feel pressured to get back to the way you were before pregnancy or before having your C-section. Just a simple example of this would be that today, yesterday, and just the past few days, somebody really close to me, which is not my partner, has been telling me that, oh, you could wear that outfit if your belly didn't look that way or whatever. And I understand that the intention might be good, but it also could make you feel really bad about yourself. Luckily, I realized that I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. My focus right now is not on my aesthetic, but on becoming healthy, getting into a good routine, and just enjoying my son and the milestones. And I'm lucky enough to be at home, so I'm just drinking in this amazing opportunity that I have to spend time with my boy, to spend time with my partner. And so, yes, I do feel a bit self-conscious about what I look like, but I do have the perspective to realize that this too shall pass, and that there will be an opportunity for me to start exercising again, which is in about 5 weeks from now. So about 3 months after surgery is when I think you can start really exercising your stomach muscles again. But until that point, I'm good. I'm enjoying life. And remember that comparison is the thief of joy. When you start comparing, your joy flies out the window, your creativity flies out the window. So don't compare yourself or your journey to anyone else. For me, I feel that the past and the future are mental constructs. And the only thing that is real is the present moment. So that is why I'm savoring the present moment, just drinking in this amazing experience of having my 2 boys, having fun with them, being home with my newborn. To every person that is there for me, that supports me and loves me, thank you so much. I appreciate your love and support immensely, and it has really, really helped me through some dark times, and some of you have become actual friends of mine, and I appreciate that. For those of you who enjoyed this content and would like more of it, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified when there's new content. That's David. He wants his mom to come play with him. So I gotta go. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day and have a lovely week. Mwah.